Good morning, wonderful ministry leaders and teams. I wanted to share with you what many of you missed last night on our Zoom ministry rally. Due to the dust storm, we did it as a Zoom meeting from 7 to 8 last night. And first off, Elder Rodney had a really good devotional out of our discipleship handbook on the mission of the Seventh Adventist Church. I think it's very important to remember that it is noted that it is a prophetic movement. It's not a church like we think the Presbyterians or the Baptists or so forth. It's a movement prophesied in Daniel 12. You remember in Daniel, the angel said this book is sealed up until the time of the end. And that gave us the time prophecy of the times and a half a time, which of course would be the Dark Ages when the papacy was in charge for 1260 years. But then we get into Revelations chapter 10, and we find that in Revelation 10, the little book was open in the angel's hand, different than the Daniel angel, which was sealed. This book is open. And there is a challenge to John the Revelator to take the little open book now, and since now it must be the time of the end, he said, eat the little book. It'll be sweet in your mouth. And that's really what it was in the 1800s now, after the 1260 years that ended in 1798. The 1800s was the years of the Second Great Awakening here in America because of the preaching of people like William Miller, and then down south, Lacunza, or over in Europe, Joseph Wolff, and many others were sounding the alarm that the prophecies were fulfilling for the coming of Jesus, the second coming. And so that brought us to the year 1844 with the Daniel 8:14 judgment hour message, which was really the heart and soul of the Advent movement. But the angel in Revelation 10 said it's going to be sweet in your mouth, but bitter in your stomach. And as we remember, the great disappointment of 1844 was the fact that Jesus did not come in the clouds of heaven, but he went into a new phase of ministry, which was not until later discovered. But in this Revelation 10, it said, you must prophesy again. Verse 11, to many nations, tongues, and kings. And so this is the movement of the Seventh-day Adventists, preaching the everlasting gospel to fear God because the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him because Babylon is fallen, and so forth. We know the rest of the story. So we are a very different denomination in the whole scheme of things. We are a movement spoken of in Revelation and Daniel to come up at the time of the end. So we really have a mandate. It's as if God put the oracles in our hands, and we have the responsibility to sound the end time message of preparing to meet Jesus. That brings us to the thunder in the Holy Lands. Our plan for the next 2 months is to begin finding homes and places where we can host Thunder in the Holy Land Bible studies. We have 14 individuals that were trained when Pastor Bird and his wife came last month to train us and to tell us about Thunder in the Holy Land. This is going to be an excellent opportunity. I just made a mock-up advertising here for 3681 Grand Cayman. That's our house. But we want you to join us in promoting Thunder in the Holy Lands. The book that is, we've just ordered 500 copies of this book. It's by Steve Wohlberg, The Light at the End. It's a very fast-moving read, a small little book with 7 chapters that go through the main prophecies of Daniel and Revelation to give people a head start on identifying where we are in the stream of time. But if you would help us, we're incentivizing every member to take at least 5 or 10 of these books with an invitation like this in the book to invite your friends, work associates, your neighbors, and then to join one of these about a dozen small groups around the El Paso area during the time of April and May. So this is our plan, and we're asking you to join us to be a part of the Thunder and the Holy Land's push and the distribution of the light at the end with the invitation to these Bible study groups. At the end of the experience of the April-May small groups, Pastor Tarbucks and I are partnering together to do a 5-night revival that would be on a Friday night, May 23, Saturday night, May 24. Again, that next week on the 28th, which is a Wednesday night, the 30th and the 31st to end on a Saturday night. So this is going to be an exciting 2 months emphasis on studying the prophecies. And of course, this is in tandem with the invitation we have now for Lonnie Melashenko to come and join us in September, right after the 5K run at McKilligan's Canyon. We will have Lonnie Melashenko come for the weekend and kick off an evangelistic series at the end of the year. So we're hoping and praying that you'll help us to promote and join in this endeavor. We have the Steps to Personal Revival still available on PDF form here, as you see on the QR code. But most of the 40 or more prayer partners will be finishing here in the next week of their 40-day commitment. But what we're asking and what was decided last night was that we're going to scramble the prayer partners so that you end up with a new prayer partner, if you'd like, to continue at least once a week contacting your prayer partner and continuing the challenge of reading the book Steps to Personal Revival. And we hope many of you will join in on the prayer partnering, because there's been so many great reports of transformation and answers to prayer in each person's life. We have updated the Sabbath morning early prayer from 8 to 8:30 in hopes that more of our people will join us from 8 to 9:30, 8:30 to 9:30 in the sanctuary. This is a tremendous time to join the forces of angels that are longing, and the Holy Spirit that is longing to pour out his blessings on a waiting, penitent people. And that's what we hope we are able to create that environment with offering these many prayer opportunities at our church. In the prayer partnering, we also discussed last night how the prayer partnering can be an excellent way of being accountable. Since Paul says in Romans, every one of us will give an account of himself or herself to God. Why not preempt that clandestine meeting with God and hold ourselves accountable now in our relationships and in our vital areas? And as you read through these accountability questions, we're asking our prayer partners if they would go through at least one of these each week and ask each other these questions. These are soul-searching questions that get down to the real nitty-gritty of where we live and where we have our challenges. And so please take note of this accountability 8 questions and see if maybe you could enter into a accountable relationship with a prayer partner. Also, out of the discipleship handbook, there are some accountability points that are brought up in the chapters of this book. Daily personal prayer, daily personal study of the Bible, daily morning and evening family worship, weekly Sabbath school and church attendance, weekly prayer meeting or at least midweek small group Bible study attendance, and regular personal witnessing and regular involvement in local church ministries. If you as a church elected official would help us to promote accountability in discipleship, this is really where the rubber meets the road and where we become more than just church members or converts, but we become disciples after the manner of the disciples of Jesus. We ended with separating into various rooms, and all the ministries met in various Zoom rooms. But in discussion was the Vespers opportunity for each ministry. Each Sabbath at 6:30, there's a Vesper program slated. And what I've done is put each ministry in a Sabbath slot. And there's no repeats, at least for every 14 weeks. So your ministry will only have this opportunity once every, what would 14 weeks be? That's like every 3.5 months. You would have an opportunity to do a Vesper program. So please consult with your ministry team and be a part of bringing a second service. You know, we have early morning, 11 o'clock Sabbath worship, but this is a fun, family-oriented time at the end of the Sabbath at 6:30 that all of our ministries could plan an excellent and fun Bible-oriented time to end the Sabbath together. So please cooperate with your ministry team and help us bring Vespers back to life, especially for our young people, which miss this time together. Every Wednesday night, if you're not in a small group during the week, please join us Wednesday night. We're praying for rain. We're praying for the latter rain, and we're studying the latter rain every Wednesday night at 7 to 8. And if you're not able to make it at the church, we always offer it by Zoom. So there's no excuse. There's always an opportunity for you to join in your church family to ask for the latter rain and to prepare ourselves for God's outpouring. That's all I had from an update from our ministry rally, and hopefully you can make it the next time we'll have it, which will not be until May. So God bless you, and we hope to see you soon.